last 3 years have really been a roller coaster ride because everything has happened so quickly. It is true, I joined politics about 3 years ago, but politics is fun. Politics really brings you in contact with people, and people from different walks of life. So you meet people from different ages, you meet people who have different jobs, you meet people who have different inspirations and aspirations, and you also meet people with different needs. But politics also gives you the tool to try and shape things and shape policies in the way that you could really help people to overcome their obstacles and attain their aspirations. So these last 3 years have been wonderful, to be very honest. It's been busy, yes, of course. I mean, if you really take this on head on, then you're going to be very busy, and the hours are very long. But the contact with people is really what gives you the courage and what gives you the energy to continue and go ahead. It is the first time that Malta has an MEP sitting within this committee, and this is my main committee, so my full work. I'm a full member of the Legal Affairs Committee, but this is a very important committee. First of all, it is a committee through which most of the dossiers pass. All the dossiers of the other committees may ask us for advice, and very often other committees do ask us for an opinion, for advice, and we would give advice. So that gives me, as a Maltese MEP, the possibility to know what is happening even in other committees and the possibility to influence that dossier in other committees. But the Legal Affairs Committee is also very important for commerce, business, financial services, as well as individuals' personal life. So, for example, currently we're dealing with trade secrets, and we're also dealing with single-member companies. And because those will affect our financial services, it will affect our innovative companies, our companies who work in innovation, and it will also affect the way we've structured our financial services and our companies. I've been meeting a number of stakeholders, a number of Maltese stakeholders, and see how the current proposal will affect them, and then I will have the challenge to try and change that proposal in a way that would affect them better. But then we also have jurisdiction over family matters. Now it is true that family matters are generally of a national competence, but family matters of cross-border families. So you will have, for example, families whose parents live in different countries or come from different countries, and let's say there is a separation or a divorce. What will happen to the care and custody of the children? What will happen to the children's right to really continue to enjoy life with both families? And those are, the type of European laws which would pass through my committee, the Legal Affairs Committee. In reality, in both areas, there are some competencies which rest completely upon the national state, and then there are others which rest upon the European institutions. So we very much try not to impinge on state sovereignty. And there is also the procedure of the national parliaments, who can bring back their own reply to us and tell us if we are impinging on their position. But directives and dossiers relating to business, especially if it is cross-border business, then that would be EU competence. Even in the field of education, and this is my second committee, and it's a committee in which I really enjoy working, because it's a committee that deals with education, with culture, it also deals with youth policy. And there it is a mixture of bringing together how we can link education with employment, education with innovation, how we can bring education in line with entrepreneurship, and all of this for the benefit of youth, for the benefit of what they would want to become, what their aspirations are. These are both committees that really and truly work very hard. The Legal Affairs Committee is a committee from which a lot of legislative work is done. The CULT Committee, the Culture and Education Committee, is one in which we do policy more than legislation. But it is also a very interesting committee because I get to deal with areas which I really enjoy working in. For example, in youth policy, we've always been trying to make sure that youth policy also takes into consideration cultural aspects. We've also been working very hard to see employment, enterprise, entrepreneurship and youth and education. How could we foster this entrepreneurship feeling amongst youth and how could we encourage them? There's also another thing which is fantastically done through the Cult Committee, and that is mobility, your Erasmus Plus program. And there we not only insist on having and always increasing and bettering the policy on mobility, but we also make sure that the Erasmus program is implemented well. In fact, I am one of the shadow rapporteurs on that specific dossier. And even when it comes to mobility, the policies we come up with is policies that make sure that your mobility experience, your experience through the Erasmus opportunities are experiences that will lead you further in life, that will really help you reach your aspirations. I think Malta and the Maltese could be really good in innovation, and for innovation to take place, I really truly believe in the digital agenda. This means how to develop ourselves better as Europeans and as Maltese, how we can get a better European opportunity to take ourselves out there and use the digital world, the digital era. If we look at our lives today, we use digitalization in everything that we do. Even if we're cooking, we're using digitalization nowadays. Wherever we are, even while we're driving, our phone will connect to the car. So, this has really opened a lot of opportunities for Malta. Malta really and truly in the digital agenda will not have any frontiers whatsoever. It is true we're an island surrounded by sea, but in the digital world, we have no frontiers whatsoever. And I think that this is one priority that Malta should have. We should be a digital hub. We should really go out there, and we have a lot of graduates and we have a lot of young people still even in compulsory education age who are really excited about this, and we have a lot of talent. And I think if I could focus on the digital agenda, focus on trying to make Europe implement this more fully, that would give us many more opportunities. Currently what I'm doing on this is I'm working on the copyright issue. We're trying to review our copyright position, the protection of copyright holders and also the protection of users. How do we access copyrighted content in a better and more flexible and more accessible way? How do we make copyright legislation adaptable to the digital world? How do we make content more accessible? How do we stop zipping our television and seeing channel closed simply because we live in Malta or simply because we live in any other part of the world? And this is a dossier that I'm currently working on. In fact, I was asked by the EPP group to even come up with a common position for the EPP group, and currently we're closing off that dossier. We will vote on it in April or May, but we will close it very soon. And the Commission will also come up with its own proposals in this regard. But as you can see, the digital agenda is something which really entices me, and it's something about which I'm very enthusiastic.